As someone who's gone through traumatic experience right after a traumatic experience, following a traumatic experience, um, one second. You know, when we go through that, we're not we're not realizing at the moment what is happening. We'll go about our day, we'll do these normal things to make us feel normal when we know everything is not normal. So personally, this is a message for anybody out there that's struggling with either moving on, moving forward, letting go, just staying away, you know, from what is bad for you. But it's also for the women that don't stand in their power, for the men that let their power take a hold of them and they're never able to control it, you know, for the people out there who don't even realize their power. And when we depict things to be out the way that they are to us, whether it is a negative or a positive, you know, it's always gonna come back to us. So that's so crazy. And like, the more that I talk about these things, the more fucked up I think this world is, because it's just a bunch of bullshit, to be honest. Personally, I just think it is a bunch of bullshit. And when we're trying to overcome that trauma, when we're trying to heal and everything, while other things are coming up, you know, it's very difficult to just look past everything and just say, I'm done. It's not that easy, right? Put into an example, cheaters, right? Nowadays, cheating is such a weird term, because the things to do, the things that fall into that category of cheating is quite literally a lot, right? Literally, today and age, you'll have a relationship with a partner, and that partner will literally, you know, not want you to talk or see anybody else. And maybe it's not like that for everybody, but internally, like, you wouldn't want your partner to be speaking to somebody else just because maybe they could be speaking about other things, they could be doing this, they could be doing that. Like, coming together is a connection, you know, walking into the same room together is a connection. And so when you do have a partner, when you do have this, it's all like, I'm like thinking like spray precipitated with your own confidence and your own being. So if you're not confident, if you don't love yourself, if you're not okay with who you are right now, you're not going to be okay with who you are. Firstly and foremost, treating you being the person that is treating this other person wrong, or even this person out here just whatever, la la land, and you can't stand up for yourself and be resourceful in that confidence to be able to stand up for yourself. So I feel like maybe you do need some context about what I am like surfacing this on, and it's my breakup, and I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about it, because I know that gives people a sense of, you know. And personally, I'm not one to talk about my personal life. Like, here and there I'll give little things, but yeah, it really does get to me. And the times where I've been able to just move past it with either doing an activity, doing one of my favorite hobbies, or just mentally just thinking it through, like it's done, it's not here for me anymore, right? It's a little bit straining. Okay, I've been doing that my whole life with every single thing, every single fucking traumatic event. Like, yeah, this person did this and this and this. But anyways, okay, so a little bit about me. Um, Hello if you're new here. Hello, welcome back if you're not. But I was born in a little town, in Maryland. My parents are from Guatemala, and yeah, I was born in the United States. I have 4 other siblings, and our father was there when we were young. So our 2 of my siblings, we have 1 dad, and 2 of my siblings, they have another dad. And my older brother and my younger sister, we all grew up together, literally all the time. And it got to that point where our parents separated. And the first time the time that our parents separated, because before that it was just pleitos, right? It was just fighting. The time that they separated, and I was in the court, I was so desensitized, because before that, the way that they were fighting was the cops were involved, there was protective orders and all that involved, right? So I was just like, okay. And so a significant moment for me then was when the lawyer, or one of the counselors, brought us into the courtroom while my father was here and my mother was here, and everybody and their families was separated. It was separated. And she brought us into this room, and it was back in I think either Washington or Rockville. I have no idea. But I was really small, and she brought us into the room, and it was these, from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, it was a glass window, and glass windows all around, 6 glass windows on that corner of the room. And she's talking to us, and I have no idea what she's saying. I can feel her energy. She's trying to, be there for us as little kids and ask us if we're okay. But all I can remember is looking out that window, and this is gonna make me cry, bro, but I'm not gonna cry. I was looking out that window, and I had so much hope for everything. I had so much faith for myself. I had so much confidence for myself. Little old me, going through all that stuff, departing ways with old versions of me that I didn't even know were leaving. I didn't even know. And eventually I'll be able to stop using that as an excuse. I didn't even know, because I didn't know. And even now, I get put into situations where I don't know what the fuck to do, and we can only try to do our very best in those moments, and sometimes even that is not enough. But it's about the situation and what happened. But when I was looking at the window, all that hope and all that, it was bubbling inside of me. And that was one of the first times that I created this this wall, this protection environment around me, because I knew that all people was a fleeting lesson, and I learned very, very young that associating myself with people would lead to other things, whether that is just conversation, whether that is just other conflicts. I didn't want to put myself through any of that, because not only seeing my parents go through it and put us through it and put us in the middle, it was so degrading, having to feel like a clown for everybody, all my school friends and all of that. I just didn't feel content, anyways, after that, you know, going to school, it was awkward, it was weird, and there was this one teacher who helped me out. Like, it would get to points, you know, like my mother, she's gotten better, but it was worse before. And, you know, I dealt with my side of physical harm, right? And from physical, it stems into mental, you know, to your spiritual, into everything. And I'm not they saying this to depict this as my mother as a bad person, like, not at all. You know, that's my mother. I love her, you know, to the moon and around 1,000 times. But, you know, she did hurt me, and, you know, I can't deny the fact that she hurt me. And for a long time, I did deny the fact, just because she told me a lot of things to, like, almost brainwash me, telling me that this was the only way, you know, her way was the only way. And eventually, when I finally realized that it was a loophole I was in, and I got out of that, I felt like the most craziest person ever. You know, like, I had an opportunity to leave home, and I did. You know, like, I was told to just go, like, just leave. I don't want you here no more. Just go. And I was like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I can't take this anymore. And, you know, when I did leave, it felt like my life would never be the same. And it was true in a sense, but, like, it felt like I was never going to have hope again. I was never going to have, like, desires again. And I felt like I wasn't going to be free from all of this, you know. It felt like, because I went through all of this, I'm gonna have to carry it with me the whole entire time. And eventually, whoever does come into my life, it's just like, I have to play it safe. I have to walk on eggshells. I'm gonna have to cater to everything that they want, all their needs. And I never ever thought about myself. I never ever thought about how many things I could give to myself, how many things that I could give to myself to nourish myself. You know, it's like, this physical world is physical for a reason. You're not asking for physical things. You're not asking for a house. You're not asking for food in your refrigerator just to feel satisfied, but you're asking it so you can survive. You know, we need these things to survive. From being, like, after that, like, homeless and sleeping on a concrete floor, you realize a lot of things. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm wise and I'm smart and I'm better than everybody, but there's a sense of that, because if for everything that I've been through and now I'm here, like, for one moment I can say that, like, I am better than all of the other versions that I've been in the past, all of the other people that have been in my past, all of the people that are passing, all of the people that are coming and going. Like, I'm better than everything and all of that. And so moving forward, you know, not necessarily moving with that ego mindset that I am better than everybody, or I did overcome so much more and that makes me this and that, but you need to realize that it does make you stronger. It does, and it did help you rise over that mountain to see light. Because, you know, for certain amounts of time, we don't realize it, but we're, like, flushing out everything that is not ours. And then when we come back and we realize that this is what we have, we completely forgot about everything else that was, like, left gone, you know? Like, Spirit is telling me that you, my viewer, had, and I'm a part of this collective as well, so, like, but, like, you had to let go and put down a baggage that wasn't yours, that didn't serve you. You know, you held on for so long, you had a connection with, and you just had to let all of these things go. And you were left with a handful of things, and you were like, words, like, appreciation that you were for this thing, like, it can't even like equal that. Like, you were more than appreciative. You were, like, with this handful, I'm gonna feed the world. And with this handful, I'm gonna get myself out of this gutter. And with this handful, I'm gonna strive for success, and I'm gonna strive for glory. And you know, apart from all of that, you know, to your true core, who you truly are and who you truly want to be, right? But the reward is from that courage and from that strength that it took for you to put that down, let that go. And because it takes so much out of us humans to do that, you're literally being rewarded in so many aspects that you don't realize, but you're going to realize. You know, everything could change overnight. Literally, things take time to open up and to roll out, but you know, the carpet being placed, that shit can happen overnight. And for you to walk it, that could be the next day, the next week, the 2 weeks after that. Like, you know, time is just time. You're just living in it. And you and I, we're the same. We're all the same. We're literally all the same. You know, for any of us to say at this moment moving forward, like, I have this and I have that, and that's why I'm better than you. I did this, and I'm here, and I have this degree, and that's why I'm better for you. I went through all of this and this is that, and I'm better than you. Like, that's not the point. You know, the point is to affiliate these connections with the memories that they went through, with the ones that you've been through, and come together and sit together with that. You know, we're meant to come together and sit together with the intention of the energy, with the intention of the memory, with the intention of the thought, that it is all for good and well, you know, for prospering effects. And whereas my story comes in, all that shit that I've been through, getting into a relationship, or getting into relationships, low-key, one after another, was not well. It like, I'd have a relationship, and the first relationship, I was like, okay, I took maybe a year off to just say fuck everything. Like, I'm not doing this, because honestly, I didn't know what the fuck. You know, like, I just broke up with this guy, and like, he didn't do anything wrong, in the sense that I just didn't fit his box anymore, basically. And I was just so out of it, and everything was just like falling apart, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So after that, when I took a break off that, I was like, all right, let me get my mind straight. And then it's like back again. I need human connection, and I don't want it to just be anybody. Like, I don't like one night stands. I know people do that. And oh my god, I'm getting deja vu. I'm gonna have a stroke. I'm like, literally, I mean, anytime that it starts to get fall, cold, and the breeze smells so fucking good, I get like so nostalgic. I love the fall, and especially, anyways, we're not gonna say that yet. Anyways, the fall is cold. But anyways, yeah, this guy, he just didn't fit we didn't fit each other's boxes anymore. And then after that, I took my break, and then I got into a relationship I didn't know that I could get into. And I wasn't really thinking at that time, oh, I want to get into a relationship or anything like that. It just kind of happened, right? And it was kind of the same thing with my first relationship. I was just always like friendly, this and that. And then, you know, people were attracted to me because of the way that I was, you know, because of the way that I carried myself. And eventually, after my second relationship, it went downhill, because on one hand, I didn't know how to control my emotions. And on the other hand, he was a lot more older than me, and all these things. Like, he had gone through a lot of other relationships and people. But that wasn't like really what the bother was. It was more of like, I wasn't understood. And, you know, it got to that point, and then it became like verbal disagreements, fighting, and then it got physical. So, you know, that's where it was not all right. And so then after the relationship, through that time, I was learning like manifestation. I was learning like, you know, breath work and spiritual things, and just like how writing is so connected to everything. Literally, like everything that you do is connected. So that's what I was like learning. I was like, let me see if I can show you something. But anyways, I was going through these but yeah, I was learning how to, you know, be one with myself, and, you know, stick to myself. And even though like before that relationship I was like doing it, it just felt like I needed some guidance. And, you know, it was weird. I'll tell you the other thing after. But like, look, if you can read it, you can read it. And if you can't, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this was my brain. Do you know what punishment is? Getting beaten up. Do you know what encouragement is? No, I did not know. Bags under eyes. Fear of everything. The smallest mistake could have the biggest consequence. I wish things were different. And so this makes me sad. I'm just gonna walk you through it a little bit, because I deleted so much, like so many pages. Like I just ripped out a bunch of shit because I was like, I'm done, you know. And that's just me. That's just me. And I'm not sorry. But look, it started good. You know, we're writing, we're doing good. And then we get to the point of battle, of, you know, constant grief with the brain, and like quite literally just, I want to be alone forever. Just like degenerate shit. Like I was just like all over the place. And eventually when I started to connect back with myself after the first breakup, I, you know, got into this other relationship where it was so fucked. But at the same time, I was so like concluded that I was the problem. You can see this, like, this is supposed to be me. Or I don't know what the fuck is supposed to be me. This feels like it's me, just an eye. This is one person, and this is another energy person's there. And then this person who has all of these other like gravestones around them. And it's like, they have me in their mind, but I'm over here just observing. Well, when they should be having this in their mind, what's right in front of them. And it's just like living through that so many times and seeing people live like that. It got me annoyed back then, but now it gets me angry. It's repulsive. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yo. But yeah, like, you know, some of my art. I started growing, you know. I started getting into the person that I wanted to be. I told myself I could handle it. I could fly. I could move forward. You know, I looked at myself and I told myself it's all going to be okay. You know, those mountains, it's okay. Does that look like me? A little bit. Yeah, I was like, I took a mirror and I was just like, you know. And then it slowly started to get better. And this is when I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was getting better, you know. And I just stepped into this other relationship not knowing that, not to regret anything, but like maybe if I continued moving with myself, I would have still had to overcome such humongous much more problems. But it would have been different problems, obviously, because I would have not been in that relationship. But yeah, then after, I just, you know, drew my life away, and I was just content for some time. I was moving forward, and things were getting better. So then during that relationship, when shit just left, you know, I was so cut up that I didn't understand what I was supposed to do, where I was supposed to go. You know, I was alone. I didn't have anybody to call home, and even if I did, like, this was back. So, and then that 1 year in between, I just guess I didn't talk. But yeah, this is 2021. I'm pretty sure this is, look, 2025. This is 2024 to 2025. That's a little bit crazy. And then this one is the most recent one, 2026. And I'm just gonna have you skim through it, because you just have to see. Alright. I wrote every single day. I wrote the things that I wanted to learn. I wrote how I was feeling. I wrote every single fucking day. Every single day. Every single day. Every single motherfucking day. This is all my words, all my brain. And, you know, I'm still going hard. Look, like, I have a whole other journal. I'm still here, and I'm still going hard. And I'm still moving forward. And, you know, it does get better. It does allow you to see new perspectives in life. It does allow you to see love in a new point of view. It does allow you to be free, be confident, and be luxurious in the ways that you'd like. You know, it's not like all of this happened in one day. You know, it's been a span of years and years and years of turmoil and up and down. And, you know, how many times I've said this world is fucked up, I can't even count. But, you know, after I, and so when I got out of that abusive relationship, I asked God, like, I was praying so much, and I asked him, I was like, who could you get me? Like, this is what I want. And I was like, please. And then out of the blue, this guy came walking down asking me if I smoked, and I said no, but all he wanted was a lighter or, I don't know, to smoke a cigarette or something. And then I pointed, I was like, that's where I work, over there. And I was just like waiting for my partner at that time. And like I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm waiting for my person. And yeah, he walks away, tells me to have a good night. And a couple of days later, he comes into my job, you know, and leaves his number, his card. And then from there, like, I found somebody who I could talk to. I found somebody who I could let all of this out and not be judged because of how I talk or how I feel because of things or how I like move. And you know, we talked, and for 3 whole years, like moving into the 4th year, we were together, and we had so many ups and downs. Like, we were homeless together, we did drugs together, we were just consuming shit that we weren't supposed to be consuming together, whether that was out of our world or through us together. But we were put through a lot together, and I feel like there's a lesson to be learned there. There's something, and I feel like all I've been learning from this person to at least get away has been lessons. So I'm just like, it's just a lesson. It's just gonna be a lesson, you know? And for a long time after, you know, we separated and it was done, I was just like, I wish I could talk to him. I wish I could talk to him and all that. But like, the most definite answer I can give you is why we went our separate ways was because this other person couldn't provide for me the way that I would have liked them to. So when people tell me, or when I hear it's like bigger, better out there, when somebody doesn't give you something that when they didn't give you what you needed, somebody else will. But I'm thinking, if that person gives me what I needed, maybe they won't give me the other side of what I need. And it's so different now because it's like, damn, I could ask, but it's like, I just need some more time to like look past that and say, okay, like that was a relationship that I learned something from. But it's strange. And I'll tell you why it's strange, because we both walked away. Like, we would come back and just talk to each other and just talk about what happened, and then we'd go our separate ways, you know, not being together. And then like that connection was still there, so it was like still rupturing my heart, still rupturing my ties with other people around me. And I was like, what is going on, right? Like, could this person really be a part of me, or could I be a part of them? And it's like just this connection that is there. And as I talk about it, I don't want to flaunt and be like, oh, diminish it and make it seem like it's less than what it really is. But, you know, for as long as I was with this person, like, I loved and I cared. And I cared and I loved with every single ounce that I had. I gave them everything I have, you know, like, and it was reciprocal, energy-wise. But then when we moved on to the physical world, it was like, it wasn't the same. I was able to fend for myself and do all these things for myself and get a place and a home for myself, by myself, without anybody's help. And so, and it was like back and forth, and then eventually I did have my own place, and this person was still like coming into my life and everything. It was set and bound, like that they weren't gonna change. But it was like they weren't gonna tell me that, because they knew I was gonna just, you know, bounce and just have it over with. But at the same time, they took advantage of my underlying faith for everything, and my trust, my cadence, the pressure that I put on myself to move forward, that I just naturally put on people so that they can move forward. You know, they need to realize that this world is not just sitting still, and sometimes it's not rainbows and daisies, okay? Like, and that fucks me up, because I'm like, I'm like earthly, you know? Like, I love flowers, like I love being in the grass and all these things. And so when we talk about the physical world, you need money, you need a house, you need a location to live at so that you're mentally, physically, spiritually comfortable. And, you know, to be able to do those things, you need to sacrifice. You need to sacrifice not having this for a while, or taking this apart for a while, or just letting that go forever. And forever is strange, you know? And it's always fucked up, because in every single movie and every single thing, this is how it ends for me, because it's like, this is how it is in my life, you know? And it's like, forever is never. Like, forever is forever, and it's like, forever is really not forever, if you understand. Like, everything goes around and comes back around, and this world is just a video game, and you can play and however do whatever you want. And that's the most beautiful thing that you can have. And to get to that point of realization for yourself, you know, for your own manufacturing, your own quality and character, you're able to get on that horse and fucking gallop and 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 gallop as far as you want to go. There's not going to be a single soul to tell you where you can or you can't go. Where you can or you can't go. There's not nobody, okay? Literally, God is the only one that can judge. Okay, not even a judge of a court of service can judge you. Okay? Literally, judges, people, police, firefighters, healthcare, where it's all corrupted. And especially in overpopulated areas and, you know, unfair wages and unfair healthcare, it's all corrupted. And the school system where kids are learning, it's all, matter of fact, fucked up. Because, like, you could have a sense with me, like, all of this shit is being controlled by a higher power in this physical realm, you know, dismissing God, and they're just like going against God's word, and it's like they're gonna be the ones to pay the price. So if we're just here in this world, you know, and it's like you're living in the astral at the same time, excuse me, you're able to combine those two things to be the center, to create a center, and to get you grounded, to get you in the present moment. Because again, that's the most important thing. If you start living in the present moment, you're able to take in the qualities of life that you have never ever experienced before. And maybe not in this life, maybe not in the next life, but in a life you're gonna meet again. In a life you're going to see that function again. In a life you're gonna feel that emotion again. In a life you're gonna be in that situation again. So to fully encapsulate yourself in the moment and be appreciative of all the little things that are in this moment, that's all you need. Because then next time around, you're going to say, wow, I've been here before. Last time I was appreciative. And this time I'll be way more appreciative so that I can be here again. So that you can be given that gift again and again. Okay? Gratitude is amplification, or gratefulness is rewarded. Okay, strength is rewarded, courage, being courageous is rewarded, you know. Okay, the toughest soldiers get put with the toughest battles because they know that you could get over it. They knew that I could get over it. They know that we could get over it. And all we need is each other at the end of the day. And I'm just here to tell everybody and tell each other to love each other, to be nice to each other, to compliment each other, to be there for each other, to just listen to each other, to help a friend in need, to give a hug, to give somebody a plate of food, to give somebody a couple dollars, you know. Like, sometimes that's all some of us need. And it's crazy because we give so much, like, up just to feel what others could be feeling, but it's really just like your projection of trying to be that other person while you don't even know what person you are. You can't even reflect your own person because you're so far deep into somebody else's life, to somebody else's bullshit, and that's all you, brother. But at the end of the day, we all have a bigger purpose here to come in and fulfill. So, you know, you could call it wasting time, you could call it dissociating, you could call it dysfunction, but like, just do what you want in life, man. Just do what you love. You know, this person, this person, I don't know. Tell them you love them. Tell them you love them. Tell them that. Or just shout it from the bottom of your fucking... Just shout it, bro. I don't even know. Just tell them, okay? I don't know if this is the best thing that's coming out, but this is what's coming out. And if you're here until the end of this video, it is confirmation. But just send that text. Just tell them whatever it is you need to tell them. And set yourself free. Because when you send that text, when you let them know, they get to reflect, they get to respond. But that's their gift that you give to them. And so when it comes back to you, you send the text. You let them know. They know now. Now it's up to them to do something with it. And now you know where you stand. You know your confidence and how far it could bring you. You know your beliefs. You know what kind of magnitude you bring and all these things. Not just that, like so many more things that I can't talk about in this video because it's too long. But with that being said, I don't need to tell you to continue being courageous. I don't need to tell you to continue being confident. I don't need to tell you to continue being strong, because you will all just be. You will just be. It's an integrated part of you now. Okay, what I come here to tell you is that it does get better. It does get better, okay? I was fucking on the concrete floor sleeping, no food, no water, no shower, dirty as fuck, going to a McDonald's job that I didn't fucking like, but I had a job, and I got that job even though I was on the fucking floor sleeping, and I would go to that job every single day that I had to. And now I work at a fucking dispensary 3 days a week, couple hours. I have a fucking roof over my head. I have food in my fridge. I have a shower to shower whenever I want, okay? I have money coming in for me. I have my social media, like, rooting for me. I have my art going for me. I have music going for me. I have my people that are aligning with me at this moment, my tribe that's coming together, that are waiting for me. They're rooting for me, okay? Everybody is rooting for me, and everybody is rooting for you too. So, you know, as I move forward and as we keep going, just peace and love, okay? I love every single one of you, and I give so much peace to every single one of you, okay? Have a beautiful day. Thank you for listening. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, I hope you have a good day and you continue moving forward and striving, because this is the life. This is the life. And yeah, you understand and I understand, and that's all I need. Okay? Okay. See you guys on the next one.